Hey guys, it's Vicky here. Let's talk The Walking Dead. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be talking all about the 4th episode of the final season of The Walking Dead. If you guys have not watched that episode yet, I highly suggest you go and watch it first before you watch this video, just because there's going to be major spoilers for this episode in this video, since we're going to be deep diving into every single scene. So, with that being said, let's get straight into it. Now this episode is called Rendition, and instead of picking up from the last episode, we go back 2 episodes from when the Reapers first ambushed our group. Daryl flees with Dog and ends up at what seems to be a compound of the Reapers and finds one keeping watch over the premises. He's able to distract the Reaper with sound and gets away from the area, but then gets attacked by another Reaper nearby. While Daryl fights this Reaper, Dog comes to help him, but unfortunately he is overpowered by the Reaper. Daryl throws a blade at the other Reapers coming his way and disappears, presumably to find Dog. Now in this scene where Daryl is going around this compound with Dog, his shadow is cast on the ground along with Dog's. Because I'm assuming because the moon is just full and really bright this night, so their shadows are cast on the floor, and when they see this Reaper in the distance, the Reaper should have also been able to see the moving shadows, because if he's been in this premises before, then he should know that there's actually nothing there that can cast those shadows, and he should be able to see them moving, even if he's not able to see, like, Dog's ears, like the silhouette of Dog's ears. He should have still been able to see something moving there, but then he was distracted by Daryl throwing, I think it was a bottle or a rock in the distance. And, like, I get that it was convenient that way, that he didn't see it, but then because of what we know of the Reapers as of right now, they're very attentive to their surroundings. Mainly because they're from the military, as we saw in the episode Home Sweet Home. They should be more attentive to these kind of details and being able to see these things rather than just going around and not paying attention to even like the small shadows on the ground. That could have made a really big difference for them, but it just doesn't really make too much sense, especially because the shadows were so dark and prominent that it could not have been anything else. And on a more emotional level, I want to say I hate that Reaper who threw Dog, because you do not touch Dog like that. He was whimpering, and that just made me really sad. Don't touch Dog. In the next scene, it is daytime, and Daryl is using the blood and guts trick to get around without being detected by walkers. Now in this scene, we see that Daryl is putting mud into the walker before he mixes it up with the blood and guts to put on his skin, and I think that's just to dilute the rottenness or the smell of the blood and the guts before he puts it on himself, just to prevent him from getting sick like Father Gabriel did when he first did it. And I think we've also seen this, like not really that much in detail, because I think that shot was an outer shot, but we also have seen Carol do that in the beginning of season 5 when she was trying to get our people out of Terminus. So I'm pretty sure that's the purpose of him putting the mud with the blood, just to, hey, that rhymed, just to not get himself sick and to, I guess, make the blood, like, kind of stick to you more, I guess. Is that how mud works? Daryl continues to go around to find Dog and then runs into a Reaper who has Dog seated beside her, and she unmasks herself, revealing herself to be Lea. Daryl proceeds to lie to her about being alone and not part of the group she was fighting, but he's unable to get away as Reapers surround him and take him captive. Now when Daryl first sees Lea, like, the look on his face is rather sad and heartbreaking, because he clearly doesn't want to believe what he's seeing. He doesn't want to believe that Lea is one of the Reapers, and like, you can just see how, like, he's trying to think of a way to get out of the situation, because he doesn't want to fight them anymore just because Lea's there. That's what I think anyway. And so he's just trying to think of how to get out of the situation. Like, he's trying to get out of there, like, back to his people, and possibly even to let Maggie know that there's someone he knows in the Reapers, and like to possibly not kill them all. But honestly, I don't think that's a very possible thing that's going to happen. But Like, I like that Daryl was very quick on his feet and he immediately, like, the first thing he did was lie to Lea that, oh, I'm not part of the people you're fighting, you got the wrong person, like, just let me take Dog and just let me go. Like, I like that he did that, but just to protect Maggie, but then I'm pretty sure Daryl doesn't like that he had to lie to her about that either. And there's a small part where Lea just says she always thought that Dog liked him better, but then Dog was not going over to Daryl's side. Like, I'm just going to assume that it's because Daryl smells like blood and guts and zombies. That's why Dog doesn't want to go near him. But I also want to point out that when Dog was sitting beside Lea, he was whimpering. And typically, when a dog feels safe, or they don't whimper when they're around their master. So it's weird that they kept that whimpering sound in. And his tail wasn't wagging either, so it's like, was Dog actually happy to see Lea, or was... I don't know what to think about that. They might have not just been able to control Dog, and he probably, like, the Dog in real life probably just likes Norman Reedus better. I don't know. But, that's just I'm just gonna throw that out there just for you guys to think about. And if you have a better reason of why Dog would actually stay with Lea there, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. And those were the opening minutes of this episode. I would say that it's not too intense. It's more... I feel like this episode is much more background story heavy and a lot more dialogue, so not to expect too much actual action like the first two episodes that we've seen, and it's not going to be that intense, for lack of a better word, like the other few episodes that we've seen before. And I like that we're going to be getting more introduced to the Reapers and their philosophy and their background. And I just want to see more of Dog. I hope Dog's okay. I like Dog. Daryl is seen being dragged into what looks like an interrogation room while he counts how many Reapers he sees. When he and Lea are alone in the room, Daryl tries to tell her that he looked everywhere for her, and that he's sorry she ended up with these people. But then Lea tells him that these people are her family. Lea then tries to interrogate Daryl on where his family is, but he continues to lie and say that he's alone. Lea then knocks him out by suffocating him with a wet towel. Now when Lea says that these people, these Reapers, are her family, that kind of gives me confirmation that Lea is definitely either one, she's going to die, or she's going to leave at the end of the Reaper arc. Just because she said that these people are her family, and she cares a lot about them, and she's not going to join Maggie's group, the people who killed her people after the Reaper arc. So the only thing that can happen to her is, one, she either dies, or she just leaves. Hopefully not with Dog, because I want to keep Dog. But those are the two things that I think that might happen to her. Those are my predictions, and that kind of sticks with what I said in my death predictions video. I included Lea in my death predictions video just because in the trailer, for those of you who decided not to watch the trailers, her character was already seen in the trailers, but then she wasn't actually announced as a cast member at the time yet. And that was because in the trailer she was wearing her red and white mask. The same scene that we saw in the opening minutes of her looking at Dog with her red and white mask, and the close-up of her wearing her mask. And everyone assumed and predicted correctly that that was Lea, and I also predicted that correctly. Yay! And that's why I think that she's going to die. That's why I thought she was going to die, because it's confirmed that she is a Reaper, and I highly doubt that Lea is going to be able to stick around with them, especially because of... if she's not going to be killed by... I don't think she's going to be killed by Daryl. I don't think Daryl's going to kill her. If anything, Maggie's going to be the one to kill her, just because I see that Maggie has changed a lot, and she's not going to have any mercy towards any of their enemies anymore. So that's why I think that Lea's most likely going to die. I also have another theory of how or who kills Lea, but I'll save that for when I get to the part in this episode. Now, one part that I really didn't like about this part of their conversation was when Lea said that her family never stopped looking for her. And it's like, that felt like a direct jab at Daryl, because she ran away when she asked him to stop looking for Rick and to stay with her. So it's like a double standard. So your family is allowed to continue looking for you, but then Daryl isn't allowed to look for his brother, who is obviously his family. And like, I just find that really, really unfair for her to say. But then obviously that might have just been like her being hurt, or like her manipulating him, or purposely trying to hurt him, emotionally anyway. So I just didn't like that she added that part at all, and it just felt really, really unfair to Daryl. The next scene, we see Daryl getting tortured, waterboarded by 2 other male Reapers as they try to interrogate him on Maggie's whereabouts. After a few cycles, Lea stops them and tries to get him to tell her, threatening him that Pope isn't going to be so nice. Daryl tells her a story that he only traded with Maggie's group, and barely knew them, only knowing them for less than a week. Now first, I want to say that I hated seeing Daryl get tortured like this, as he's also, I'm pretty sure he's been the only one who was physically tortured like this in the entire show. Correct me if I'm wrong, please let me know if I'm completely missing out somebody else. But back in the Savior arc, he was tortured by Negan and Dwight, and I really hated those seasons just because he was tortured. And now here, this episode, he's being tortured again, and I just really don't like that. Please stop torturing him. Just one thing I want to point out in this waterboarding, I'm pretty sure that's the right word to use, the waterboarding scene. It's a technical thing, and like, it's not that big of a deal, but I just wanted to point out that I'm pretty sure after just being waterboarded once, your eyes will be bloodshot red, or like at least like around your eyes, like the skin around your eyes should be even a little bit red. But if you look at the scene, Daryl's eyes and his face, like they look kind of okay, like they're fine, they're not really that red, they're maybe just like a little bit pink. But I'm pretty sure I've seen movies where someone gets is like almost on the verge of drowning, and their eyes, like the whites of their eyes become pink. So I'm pretty sure there's a way to do that, but I don't know why Walking Dead decided not to do it when they have so many makeup effects for the walkers. They can spare a little bit of blush, like a bit of like red eyeshadow to put like under the eyes. I don't know actually how they do it, but like, I'm pretty sure they could have done that, like not to make the whites of your eyes pink, just because I'm pretty sure that is a very dangerous thing to do. But maybe like the bags under his eyes, maybe make it a little more pink, just to make it look a little bit more realistic. And like, that's not a big issue to me, it's just something that I wanted to point out. And when Daryl makes up the story about him trading with Maggie's group, and like just lying to her about knowing them for just less than a week, it kind of brought me back to the Commonwealth, where Eugene was telling them bits and pieces of the truth, and some like throwing in some lies just to make them believe him. And it just, I really like the double spy story we kind of have going on, and I like those kind of things, because it's like we have 2 of the kind of the same arc, but not really in like the same season, in 2 different places, and like I just find that really fascinating how they're linking the 2 together without linking the 2 together, if that makes any sense. And I may be the only one who kind of thinks this way, or like how I kind of saw it this way, but throughout this entire episode, I feel like Daryl kind of reverted back to his season 1 self, where he doesn't trust anyone. He's looking at everyone with like a side eye and kind of like, I don't know if I should trust you or not. It's even to Lea, like he doesn't know whether to trust her or not. And like, it just brings me back to how he acted in season 1. And I really like that, because it's like, he knows he doesn't belong with the Reapers. Like, he knows that, and it's like, I really like that he's like, Norman Reedus, he's amazing. He's bringing it back to, I know I don't belong here, I don't know who to trust. Like, these people can stab me in the back and like the next second and I won't even know what to do. And he's just very cautious and wary, which he definitely should be since the Reapers are, I think they're still crazy. I just really like that. It brings back the season 1 feel of him being out of place, and just, maybe that's just like me feeling that way. If you guys feel the same way about Daryl looking like he's back in season 1 again, please let me know, because I don't want to be the only one who thinks that way. I don't think I am I? As Lea doesn't trust what Daryl is telling her, he is taken to a cell where he is locked up and he finds Frost in another cell. When Frost recognizes Daryl in the other cell, he calls out to him, but Daryl tells him to leave him alone, telling the same story he had told Lea. Frost is then dragged out to be interrogated yet again. Well, I'm glad that this kind of cleared up where Frost is, because I was wondering where the heck he was the last episode, since we did not see anything of Frost last week. But yeah, we finally know where Frost is, and he's alive! Yay! But he's taken hostage by the, well, not hostage, he's taken by the Reapers to be interrogated, so that's not so yay. Like, this interaction between Daryl and Frost, I really, really enjoyed it, just because it felt like they were having two separate conversations. What I mean by that is, when Daryl was telling Frost to just leave him alone and I was never part of your group, don't drag me into your shit, but Daryl was signaling him with his eyes, like, there's a guard there, like, play along with me, or else, like, we are both going to die, like, I need to get them to trust me. That's what I feel like Daryl was trying to tell him, and he does it perfectly, because Frost figures it out right away, that this is just a play. He's not, like, he is actually part of the group, but then he's trying to be like the insider, trying to get them to trust him. And it's like, I loved that, like, that interaction. I loved their really, really quick-paced teamwork. And it was just, it was really, really nice to see. And I really hope Frost doesn't die, just because, one, most of Maggie's people are kind of dead. We still don't know where Elijah is. And, yeah, I really hope Frost lives, just because he's... because of the scene, and also because he's one of the only people left in Maggie's group. After what seems like a few hours, Lea comes back to talk to Daryl, again trying to get him to tell her what he knows. Daryl tells her that he never lied to her and that he's not going to start now, then asks her for him to let him go with Dog. Frost is then brought back in and Lea is told that she lost one of their people. We are then shown a sequence of what looks like a ritual for the Fallen Reaper, and we finally see who Pope is. Now, when Daryl tells Lea that he's never lied to her, I do believe that, but then when he tells her that he's not going to start, we kind of already know that he started already with, well, we obviously know that he started lying to her already just to protect Maggie, and I feel like in the coming episodes, especially when Lea finds out that Daryl has lied to her, he's going to feel like shit about it if he doesn't already, and he's going to beat him up. He's going to beat himself up for it as well, just because he's Daryl and he does that too much, don't you? So in this ritual scene, we hear someone heavily sobbing in the background, and then we also hear the conversation between the Pope and this person crying, and the Pope telling him that it's okay, you did the right thing, and then we see Lea just kneeling beside this dead body and crying over him, and while I'm assuming one of the priests or something, they're doing the ritual over the body. And I like that they're trying to show, like, a more human side to the Reapers, and, like, they're trying to get us to, I guess, empathize with them, that these people are people too. Like, they're people with people they care about. Like, they have a family. They are each other's family. The only thing is, I can't empathize with them. I can't sympathize with them. I can't feel bad for them, just because they have also killed so many people in cold blood, and they basically killed all of Maggie's people, minus Elijah and we now know Frost. It's just, they are angry because they lost one person. What about Maggie? She's lost her entire community. They took over her entire community, so does Maggie not have a right to be angry? But for some reason the Pope does? That's why I cannot feel bad for these people until maybe we find out that possibly Maggie did something to wrong them. But knowing Meg, I don't think that that's what happened. I just want to know why the Pope marked Maggie specifically, because it's the Pope's command that caused this person's death. So if anything, Pope should be mad at himself. Lea goes to find Daryl as if to find comfort in him after she had lost Turner, a Reaper she saw as her little brother. She confides in Daryl, telling him about her past and how she met Turner and the other Reapers. They then talk about what went down between the two of them. So what I gathered from the beginning of this conversation was that Lea had known these people from the very beginning, as in before the fall of the world. At least that's how I understood it. So she's basically a mercenary who has worked for the Pope before the fall of the world, and I guess she just got separated from them, and that's how she met Daryl. And it kind of ties into what she said about herself being found by her family in the interrogation room when we first saw her in the interrogation room with Daryl. So yeah, she's not leaving these people. She's, well, until they all die, but then, like I said, there's two possibilities. She's either gonna die or she's gonna run away. Okay, so when Lea says that Daryl was the one who left her all those years ago, I have a huge issue with this because that's not what happened. If you have watched the episode Find Me, that's season 10, episode 18, you will also know that that's not what happened. Lea was the one who stormed out after she forced Daryl to choose between her and his family. So she made him choose, and when he didn't give her a proper answer at first, when he basically told her that he doesn't know where he actually belongs, she storms out. And until this episode, that's the last we ever see of Lea. So she storms out, and Daryl goes off to find Rick. Maybe a few days passes, but then, like always, Daryl came back to find her, but she was gone. She didn't even try to go back and say goodbye to him or anything like that. She just left. So that's why I have a huge issue with her saying that he's the one who left, because she's the one who left. Daryl was the one who stayed behind and tried looking for her. So it's really unfair for her to say that, oh, you're the one who left, when that's not even the case. So I don't know, why she's even bothering to say that he's the one who left. Probably also because she knows that Daryl's not going to fight her on it, because it's Daryl. He doesn't fight people on things when he blames himself for people leaving. So I just really didn't like that part, just cause that's not what happened. So at the end of the day, if Lea had not left completely, she would have seen that Daryl came back for her. So that's all on her for leaving. I'm gonna leave it at that. Lea then tells Daryl that he needs to tell her something to help him before the Pope decides to hurt Daryl, as he's angry about Turner. Daryl then proceeds to tell her vague details about the group and continues to lie about the numbers. Lea seems to finally believe him and promises to get him out of the cell. Now, I really like that Daryl is still playing really smart here, and he's telling them bits of the truth that they need to know. So basically they wanted to ask him, they just wanted to find out who the leader was. So he tells them, he tells Lea that there are 3 people in charge. There's the woman, who's Maggie, the skinny guy who never shuts up, that's Negan, and then the priest with a shotgun. Now, obviously that is Gabriel, and he didn't need to add the fact that he had a shotgun. But I think he just threw that in just to make sure that they know they're loaded. They have ammunition. Even though that's they're running low on ammunition, but they don't even know that. And then he says that they have the numbers, they have, I think he said 3 dozen of the fighters. That's, if I can do math properly, that's 36 people versus their 15 that he counted on his way in. So that's he's giving them bits and pieces to try to throw them off their track and to decide not to fight them, just because he doesn't want to fight them anymore because Lea's there. Pretty sure if Lea wasn't there, he might have actually been more interrogated and tortured and dead. But because Lea's there, he doesn't want to fight anymore. and like at least he doesn't want to fight with her there anymore. Now at the end of the conversation, Daryl asks when he can meet this Pope. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they've actually ever referred to the Pope as Pope in front of Daryl. Like, Lea has always called him, oh, her commander, the one in charge, like mainly her commander, and I don't think they've ever actually told him that he's called the Pope, unless that's like in the background, like off the screen scenes that he hears them refer to him as the Pope. But then, like on screen, I don't think we've ever seen it. We've only heard it in, we've been told by the Reaper who hunted down Maggie in Home Sweet Home. So I don't know whether this was a slip-up by the writers or not, or just, I don't know. They might have hinted, or they might have told Daryl that this person's called the Pope. They might not have, but that's just a small detail that I kind of found a little bit weird, since I don't think Daryl's supposed to know that he's called the Pope just yet. Lea goes to the Pope to relay what she had learned from Daryl. She tries to convince him to let Daryl stay and join as one of them. Now in this scene, it really does feel like a father-daughter relationship between Pope and Lea. Like, the conversation kind of confused me a little bit, just because, like, when Lea says that what she had with Daryl ended when the Pope found her and she chose this family, that kind of confused me a little bit, just because I thought that the Reapers were her group before the fall of the world, but then again, we know that she got separated, and she got separated from her family before, so these might actually be the same people. Like, they never actually clarified that, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. It's just the wording in this conversation is a little bit confusing, but I'm pretty sure that that's what they're trying to convey. That Lea was with the Reapers way before she got separated, and then she was off on her own for a little bit. Then she met Daryl, and then she ran off, and that's when the Pope found her again. That's what I think is what went down. The scene skips to Daryl being in the interrogation room again, and Lea comes to untie the ropes on his wrist. She goes to open the door when a liquid substance is poured into the room underneath the door, then it is lit on fire. Daryl does his best to break the windows and gets both him and Lea out safely. When they are out, Lea joins the others and Pope announces to welcome Daryl to their family. Like, I gotta be honest, I did not expect this to happen at all. Mainly because when, well, in the previous scene we saw that the Pope is very, like, loving towards, well, I guess loving isn't the right word to use, but he sees Lea as his daughter, so I did not expect him to throw his daughter into a raging fire with someone that he may or may not trust, but that happened, and this might actually just be like their normal hazing, if that's the right word, ritual in this group. But I honestly, I kind of have a feeling that Lea might have actually been in on it, just because, like, she obviously does trust Daryl to get her out of there, so, like, she might have been able to trust him to get her out of there. That's why she decided to, like, volunteer herself in a way, and, like, I get that, just because the way that she's able to very calmly walk back to her group and stand in front of Daryl like that, and the look on her face is basically, like, to the Pope, is basically like, I told you so, I told you we can trust him, I told you that he's good. And, like, that's what I get from the scene. I could be completely wrong, and she's just like deep down inside, she's just like, what the hell? Why did you just throw me in there? Although, if she really, really was in on the entire thing, I don't think Daryl's gonna take that very well, just because, like, he cares for her. And knowing how Daryl is, he doesn't like it when people throw themselves in dangerous situations. And obviously, this was a very dangerous situation, so I don't think he would be very happy once he learns that Lea was in on this entire throwing him to the fire to come out a new man, I guess. Daryl meets privately with the Pope, and he preaches his philosophy to Daryl, that they are the chosen ones who were forged by fire, because when they had been holding up in a church while the city around them burned, none of his people got burned or injured. Like, with Pope's story, I kind of do understand where he's coming from, like, not the insane part, but why he thinks his people specifically are the chosen ones. Because he literally lived through a miracle. Like, he probably thinks that that night when the city around him burned, him and his people should have died, but they didn't, and they came out completely unscathed. And that's like, I find that actually like a really cool concept, but then like he took it a bit too far, just because now he's like I said in the previous video, him and his group are now kind of like a religious cult. So like, it's not good, but then it's a really cool concept to me. Only thing I really want to know is, was he a religious man before this entire thing happened? Because like, not talking about personal experience or anything, but I know that there are some people who are complete atheists until one pivotal point in their life, and they are completely all in with religion and God. So I just want to know whether he's one of those completely atheist people who have literally witnessed death every single day, as he was, or still is, a commander for his mercenary people, or whether he has always been a religious man, and this just completely blew up that mindset for him. The final scene of the episode jumps to the Reapers having dinner outside a campfire. Pope comes out with Daryl to formally welcome him to the group and asks Bossy, one of his people, to give Daryl part of his share. Pope then proceeds to ask Bossy if he is okay, as he had injuries on his back, then questions whether he was running away while Turner was being killed. Bossy tries to convince Pope that he wasn't running away, but Pope doesn't believe him, and throws him face first into the fire as punishment for abandoning a brother. Alright, so this scene, I did not expect whatsoever, mainly because, well, who really would expect this to really happen? And I honestly don't think that it was really needed. Reason being, if Bossy had told the Pope exactly what happened, he would not be seen, well, in my eyes, he would not have been seen as abandoning a brother. And I dare say that just because we know exactly how he got that wound in his back. We know how Turner died. In the previous episode, Hunted, we see the scene firsthand where Maggie literally shoves a bottle into what we now know as Turner's face, and then she throws a knife into Bossy's back. That's how Bossy got the injury in his back. Not running away. He was facing the enemy. He was basically killing Alden. So he wasn't running away. He was telling the truth. If he had elaborated exactly what happened, he would not be seen as a traitor. He would not be seen as someone who abandoned their family. And it's just, like, all you need to really do is talk. Well, maybe not the Pope, because he actually might not listen, since Lea said that Pope's angry, he needs someone to take this out on. So this might have actually happened anyway. It's just, I think that it could have been avoided if Bossy told him exactly what happened, rather than just bits and pieces that, oh, I was there with him. But, like, his injuries proved otherwise. But if he explained that he was killing one of the enemy's people, then, and that's when he got his back injured, that he couldn't really do anything about that, then maybe he could still be alive and not die such a horrible death. Now obviously this scene was very gruesome and kind of hard to watch, but I just really want to say that this scene really does show how loyal the Pope is and how loyal he wants his people to be. So it's like, you do not ever abandon or turn your back on your brother. And I feel like this was a direct threat, I guess, to Daryl, since, like, the first time he has dinner with these people, he burns someone alive in front of him because he thinks that he betrayed their group. So he immediately goes up to Daryl and he's like, you do not turn your back on your brother. And like, I feel like that kind of brought me back as well to season 7 when Negan burned a guy's face with the iron, not Dwight, I think his name was Mark. And that was to enforce a no cheating rule, even though Negan stole his girlfriend or wife or whoever she was. But anyway, I feel like this is like maybe not a direct callback to that Negan scene, but I feel like it's very similar to me, since the Pope is directly showing Daryl what happens when you break the rules, when you abandon your family. And he announced before that Daryl is now part of their family. And it's just, I like that parallel, but at the same time I don't, because I'm worried what's going to happen to Daryl when they find out that he's literally double-crossing them. And I also want to point out that that's my third theory of what might happen to Lea, because clearly we do see in this episode that she still cares for Daryl, and so when she finds out that Daryl is actually on Maggie's side, the possibility of her actually turning against her family, I think that's really low. But if that really does happen and she joins Daryl's group to fight the Reapers, then chances are the Pope is going to be the one who kills her in the same gruesome way, since he says that, what was it? Fire is God's wrath, and so he might be also the one to kill Lea. I have, like, that's my third possibility, that's my third theory, but that, of course, that is just a theory. I really still don't know what's going to happen, whether Lea lives or dies or runs away. Those are all just theories. I don't think Lea's going to turn her back on this group, though, just because, like, she seems very loyal and devoted to them. I really don't think my third theory is going to play out, but we shall see. Maybe I'm completely wrong about everything. Now, I really like that in this episode we got to take an inside look at how the Reapers are. Like, they are actually people who have emotions and care about one another, and like, I like that they're trying to play with the audience's emotions and how we feel about the villains, even though the Pope kind of proves to be very, very, like, for lack of a better word, insane at times. Since at the beginning, when we were first introduced to the Reapers as a whole, they were just people who moved like ghosts, literally. And they were just people who knew how to fight, and they were the enemy. They are trying to hunt down Maggie's community. They were the bad guys. But now that we got into this episode, we see that these are actual people. We see that, like, they eat like normal people, they have feelings, they cry like normal people. Maybe except for the Pope, because he just gets angry at everything, and he throws people into fires. Like, as of right now, I'm unable to feel bad for the Reapers, and I can't really sympathize or empathize with them, just because we still don't know what the Pope wants with Maggie. Why was Maggie marked? Did she do something to them for them to think that she deserves this? Or, like, what is it? I just want to know why Maggie was marked, and what that even means, since it doesn't seem like they're trying to kill Maggie, but they just want to get her to come back with them, or like just capture her. But then at the same time, like, what is the purpose of that? I just want to know these answers. Now, for this episode, I was going to rate it a 6 out of 10, mainly because I hated seeing Daryl get tortured, and I hated seeing Dog thrown at the very beginning of the episode. That hurt me. But to be unbiased, I'm going to rate this a 7 out of 10, mainly because, like, it wasn't the best episode, but it also wasn't the worst. It was a pretty decent episode, and I did like that we were able to go inside of the Reapers and just see how they operated, see what kind of people they are, and right away we are able to learn what their philosophy is and what the Pope thinks of everything. Like, we get all of their background, and there's a lot of information that we can take in this episode from the Reapers. They are a very loyal religious cult, basically, and I really liked the concept of being baptized by fire, as I think the Pope said something like being born from the ashes like a phoenix, and that concept is honestly really cool to me. Now, I'm actually really excited about what's going to happen in the future episodes, because now we have 2 spy arcs, kind of, technically. I don't think Eugene is really that much of a spy arc, but this is definitely like an insider double-cross arc, and I just really want to see how Daryl plays it out, and how he's going to relay information to Maggie, how Maggie's going to react to seeing Daryl on the other side, and I'm pretty sure Maggie is going to know what he's trying to do, since she knows Daryl. Frost was able to pick up on what Daryl was trying to do, so there's no reason why Maggie would not be able to trust him with what he's doing either. Unless they completely change her to I don't trust anybody and thinks that Daryl is actually turned to the Reapers. But I highly doubt that that's what they're going to do. I really hope that's not what they're trying to do, because that would really, really hurt. And it doesn't help that she's now teaming up with Negan. I don't think that Maggie is going to lose her faith in Daryl. I'm definitely not losing my faith in Daryl. I'm really curious how they're going to play this entire arc out, especially when Daryl's probably going to be watched by all the Reapers, since they might not all trust him just because Lea and the Pope say so. I don't even know if the Pope truly actually trusts Daryl, but he might just not trust anybody. Alright, so that was my review of Season 11's Episode 4 of The Walking Dead, Rendition. If you guys liked what I said, please let me know down in the comments down below. And if you guys enjoyed my video, please give me a thumbs up. If you guys would like to see more of my future content, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I would really appreciate that. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!